This exciting story is about 𝗖𝗀, an orphan who was alone and lost in this enormous world full of missions and dangers. His appearance was that of an ordinary high school student, but everyone was unaware of his real age. Who he really was remained a mystery. He played the role of a schoolboy and live-streamed to make money this way. 𝗖𝗀 provoked pity among people with his appearance, thinking while sitting on the bench that something unknown was happening around him. This surprised 𝗖𝗀 as a portal began to open in the sky, from which a lightning bolt burst out. Everyone was paralyzed. It was unknown what it was, and everyone was lost. From this portal, an unknown creature appeared, the goddess Agatha Nicholas. People thought that the end of the world had begun, but no one understood what was happening. Everyone had different conjectures but thought it was a game. 𝗖𝗀 felt this voice arising from beneath his consciousness. His gaze was full of fear and interest. The gods subdued the people, calling them monster warriors. Everyone had to fight for him, and the strongest would survive. For the people, they were surrounded by an isolating dome with no exit. Everyone was terribly scared and perplexed. The monster gave time for everyone to prepare for the fight. After its return, it would distribute the first task. People heard but were shocked by what was happening. Attempts to call and contact someone were futile as there was no connection. No one could do anything. There was only one way to fight for their life. 𝗖𝗀 didn't understand what was happening and why he was doing this, because he was very young and wanted to keep living. Why should he participate in this? One of the participants decided to break down the dome by throwing a bench against the wall, but it was in vain as it flew back and killed the man. No one could believe it. The man was dead. Everyone started to understand what awaited them. People stayed away from the edge, understanding the gravity of the situation. The main character lost hope of doing something as there was no connection. The man was dead, and he didn't know what to do to survive. Suddenly, a notification arrived on his phone. A notification about a gift from the future arrived on his phone, reminding him that this time he could go further. When opening the notification, a wheel of fortune appeared on the screen. It was a talent attraction where he could eliminate skills that would help him. Judging by people's reactions, they were just waiting for the monster and the mission they had to complete. Only the boy received this gift. 𝗖𝗀 decided to spin the wheel several times at once and eliminate talents, watching with fear and interest what he would win. The wheel started to spin, and he felt a surge of energy and self-confidence, even without knowing what talents he had received. People were in panic, and the boy was in the middle in complete calm and peace, having lost all fear. The main character felt stronger. The talents appeared on his smartphone screen. At first glance, they seemed useless. They were divided into regular, excellent, mythical, and epic ranks. The schoolboy was furious because he had such talents that seemed they could help him. 𝗖𝗀 didn't know how to explain his feeling of confidence since the acquired skills weren't as strong as he thought. The mere knowledge that he had acquired at least some skills gave the boy peace of mind. Perhaps the secret of his confidence lay in the manifestation of talent. 𝗖𝗀 overestimated these talents and abilities, but the very ability to get rid of fear in such a situation was not to lose composure. Observing the epic rank, he couldn't imagine how the talent of 𝗖𝗀 would help him. This is wrong. The main character didn't want to die young. 𝗖𝗀 felt pain in his body, especially his legs. Confused, he didn't know what to do as the intelligence system was the first to transfer skills. He felt pain, and his vision became blurry. Suddenly, tables appeared in front of each person, but only 𝗖𝗀 saw them. Probably this was a manifestation of some of the acquired skills. The tables showed the personal qualities and attributes of each person. The boy didn't understand what to do with this information. It was a skill that allowed him to see a person's strength. 𝗖𝗀 could mentally view or remove the panel, but holding it in front of him wasn't convenient. Having tried to use the panel on a girl running by, the subject analyzed and activated 𝗖𝗀's skill since the girl was stronger than the boy. She looked at him with a loving gaze, as if her mind was clouded by love for the schoolboy. She was ready to do anything for him. Seeing how the girl looked at him, 𝗖𝗀 thought those skills weren't so useless. She treated him like a lost child. The boy knew he seemed young, but not that much. He didn't know how to respond. The boy was an orphan. The girl was anxious, but, despite this, decided to give priority to 𝗖𝗀, demonstrating that the skill was truly amazing. Moved by the pity of being an orphan, he embarrassed the girl, making her feel guilty. They didn't know how to get out from under the dome, but the girl hoped that God would help them. She supported 𝗖𝗀 in every possible way to rid him of fear. The boy said he was a first-year high school student and about his life. The girl intended to protect him and be family. Their conversation was interrupted by a rough male voice. It was the girl's bodyguard who had excellent qualities for the job. He spoke of the boy to Miss Lin, the girl's name, who convinced the bodyguard that although the boy was young, he would be suitable as an assistant. 𝗖𝗀 was pleasantly surprised that Miss Lin had a bodyguard because it meant she was not only stronger but also richer. Only the bodyguard was suspicious of the boy because the system warned that in a critical situation, he would throw 𝗖𝗀 first. People didn't realize how the god 𝗖𝗀𝗆 appeared and began to explain that to become a full-fledged warrior, one must undergo baptism by blood and fire. The rules of the first test were that everyone would be divided into groups and sent to different worlds where they would fight monsters. Looking at the god, the boy saw the character panel and discovered that the skill also worked with the monster because it was a woman. With this talent's help, the goddess 𝗖𝗆𝗆 decided to show mercy, and no one would die in this test, but everyone would feel all the pain to the maximum. A hole opened under the people's feet. They all looked there with fear in their eyes, but everyone had to enter because there was no other option for the events. Upon entering the portal, 𝗖𝗀 fell into a cave where it was cold and scary with many spiderwebs. It was necessary to get there despite the fear. Looking around, he didn't see Miss Lin, meaning she and the bodyguard had been assigned to another group, so he would have to figure it out himself. The surrounding atmosphere was alarming. Everyone was panicking. 𝗖𝗀 didn't understand why they were so worried they were ordinary spiders. When spiders appeared next to him, he realized why people were so worried. The spiders were not exactly what 𝗖𝗀 imagined. They were larger than in normal life. One of the team members said they were people and that the most powerful weapon was intelligence. The character panel showed their qualities, which were above the rest. There was a rumble and a crack behind them. They turned around and saw an open door. This was the path to the first mission. Everyone was scared, but no one stopped. This was the mother spider's lair. The female spiders became aggressive because they were in their breeding season. It was dangerous to enter the lair, but there was no other way. 𝗖𝗀 had doubts. It seemed that the deeper they went, the more dangerous and aggressive the spiders would be. The boy, thinking about this, found the optimal solution for everyone to survive. It was necessary to divide into squads to make it easier to protect each other. He was too weak to express his assumptions and decisions due to his qualities, so they didn't listen to him. Suddenly, the goddess 𝗖𝗆𝗆 appeared to give a hint. Since this was the first test, she decided to show mercy. They must go as deep as possible and try to survive, but cannot stay in the initial location. Everyone began moving towards the lair for the test and the spiders. 𝗖𝗀 decided to go behind everyone to study the situation and keep an eye on everything. Everyone thought the boy couldn't help, saying he was one of those who stay silent and wait for the moment to speak, but they were wrong. The strongest in the team decided to leave 𝗖𝗀 behind in case the spider attacked, so they would throw him to be devoured because everyone is for themselves here. Suddenly, one of the spider's legs jumped from the wall and pierced the girl's neck. She died. The boy clearly didn't expect this and was stunned by what was happening. The team leader ordered everyone to return and flee. Something terrible was happening, but the commander didn't even realize he had condemned everyone to death. Everyone started running away, but the main character stood still, knowing he couldn't stay and run from the starting point, or it would lead to death. He needed to figure it out on his own, but the usual means of self-defense wouldn't be effective. The only option was to fight for life or death. The character panel showed that the spider was stronger than 𝗖𝗀, but she was friendly. She was a woman, and the skill affected her, so she wouldn't attack him. The boy was surprised that this talent affected everyone. Moreover, this skill had a too strong effect on the spider, which could destroy him if he said the wrong word or made a mistake. He needed to find a common language with her. The boy decided to use the gift from the system. This was a gift from the future that 𝗖𝗀 received. Spinning the wheel of fortune again, the boy decided to use his accumulated strength to select a powerful weapon. This allowed him to kill the mother spider and continue on his way. The most important thing was that now he had to prove he was strong, knowing the laws of life, because being on the road with nothing to protect himself was a terrible idea. The schoolboy looked into the spider's eyes, feeling her anger and frustration. He didn't understand why she didn't attack him, but looking at her leg with suspicion, he saw the clear wound left by the sword. Looking at the character panel, the boy discovered the pain's source. The schoolboy noticed the Spider Queen was injured and the wound wouldn't heal quickly. He needed to help her somehow. The boy, addressing the spider, felt she understood him. There was a bit of apprehension in the spider's gaze, but the boy didn't feel a threat from her. 𝗖𝗀 couldn't understand how this skill helped because, looking at the panel, he knew this spider was hostile to everyone except him. The spider was a female, and the ability to attract the opposite sex didn't give him the desired confidence. However, the skill worked in his favor, and this was the main thing. 𝗖𝗀 understood the nature of the injury. He approached the spider and tried to figure out what to do next. He hoped he was right and didn't make a mistake because the spider could have simply killed him. The mother spider sat quietly and waited. It seemed she understood the schoolboy's intentions to help. Looking closer, the boy noticed a fragment of the sword stuck in the spider's wound. 𝗖𝗀 carefully examined the spider and saw the leg wound bleeding badly. It was deep and needed treatment. Trying to stay calm, he asked the spider to trust him. He would try to help her in every possible way. Aeon felt he had to think quickly because time was running out. The boy tore off a piece of his shirt and tied the spider's wound tightly, trying to stop the bleeding. The spider hissed in pain but stayed still. It seemed she understood he was helping her. Aeon carefully removed the sword fragment, trying to be as gentle as possible. The spider trembled with pain, but her eyes showed gratitude. When the fragment was removed, the boy used the piece of cloth to tightly bandage the wound. It wasn't professional medical care, but it was the best he could do in that situation. The spider seemed calmer, and Aeon felt he had done everything possible to help her. This strengthened the bond between them. The boy realized the skill he had received was truly amazing. Despite the unusual circumstances, he was glad to have this gift from the future. The spider started moving more confidently, although she was still injured. The bond between them was clear, and Aeon felt that together they could overcome the challenges ahead. The boy felt a surge of energy and confidence. He understood that his new skills and talents were not to be underestimated. They were just the beginning, and he had much to discover. Aeon decided to move forward with his newfound friend, ready to face any danger together. The future was uncertain, but with the spider by his side and the skills he had acquired, he felt he could handle anything. This was just the start of an exciting journey filled with adventures, challenges, and discoveries. As Aeon continued to help the spider, he realized that he needed to be strategic and think ahead. His immediate goal was to ensure his own survival and that of his new ally, but he also knew he had to be prepared for whatever challenges lay ahead. The cave was full of dangers, and the presence of the giant spiders was just the beginning. With the mother spider injured but now an ally, Aeon felt a renewed sense of hope. He understood that survival in this new world would require more than just physical strength. It would require wit, resourcefulness, and the ability to adapt quickly. As he ventured deeper into the cave with the mother spider by his side, Aeon began to notice other creatures emerging from the shadows. These creatures were smaller but still menacing, and they seemed to be drawn to the commotion caused by the earlier battle. Aeon used his new skills to assess the situation. He realized that the spider's injury had attracted these smaller creatures, and it would be crucial to keep them at bay while he and his ally navigated the cave. The boy knew that teamwork and careful planning were essential for survival. The spider, though injured, proved to be a valuable ally. She helped Aeon fend off the smaller creatures and provided crucial assistance in navigating the treacherous terrain. As they worked together, Aeon felt a growing sense of camaraderie with the spider. He knew that their partnership was a key factor in their survival. Despite the dangers, Aeon remained focused and determined. He used his skills to analyze the strengths and weaknesses of their enemies, making strategic decisions that would give them the upper hand. With each step, he felt more confident in his abilities and the potential of his new talents. After what felt like hours of navigating the dark and dangerous cave, Aeon and the spider finally reached a more stable area. The cave opened up into a larger chamber with a clearer path forward. Aeon took a moment to catch his breath and assess their situation. He knew that the journey ahead would be challenging, but with his new skills, the support of the spider, and his determination, he felt ready to face whatever came next. The first test was only the beginning, and he was prepared to confront the trials and dangers that awaited him in this new world. As Aeon and the spider continued their journey, they encountered more monsters and obstacles. Each challenge tested Aeon's abilities and pushed him to grow stronger. He learned to rely on his skills, his newfound talents, and the support of his ally. The journey was long and arduous, but Aeon's perseverance and resourcefulness paid off. He successfully completed the test and emerged as a stronger and more confident individual. The experiences he had gained and the lessons he had learned would shape his path in the world of monster warriors. With the test behind him and a newfound sense of purpose, Aeon looked forward to the future. He knew that there would be more trials and challenges ahead, but he was ready to face them head on. The world was vast and filled with unknowns, but with his skills and determination, he was prepared to carve out his own destiny. The story of Aeon's journey had just begun, and he was eager to see where it would lead him. With each step, he moved closer to discovering his true potential and uncovering the mysteries of the world around him. After the contract was concluded, the half-human's body became completely human, which was convenient. The task was coming to an end. Aeon didn't understand if this had something to do with celebrating the contract, but it was possible that the purpose of the task was to explore the area rather than kill. The protagonist felt a sense of not wanting to leave this place, as if he had forgotten something important and valuable. The victory and confidence from having completed the task better than others encouraged him. The task was completed, and everyone was teleported back under the dome. Now, everyone had a personal points terminal where points were replenished for each task. The ancient god gave people time to form teams to increase their chances of survival and victory. When multiple people fought, the chance of winning was much higher. Aeon decided to think about team distribution later. First, he needed to check his characteristics and points. The panel looked like a life game. While studying his characteristics, the boy was distracted by a female voice.